What's up guys, Chris here from Mainely Mesh. Part 2 of my STX Omega head review. We are attacking the Hammer Omega today. In case you didn't watch the Stallion Omega, if you didn't watch the Stallion Omega video, just a quick recap. STX has introduced what I'm calling a super plastic, which is a plastic that lasts significantly longer than all of the previous other plastics on the market. There are only two companies who I consider to have super plastics. That would be ECD with the DNA and the Weapon X, and STX with the Omega line. The biggest difference being the Omega line, their plastic is much less dense, so these are much lighter options. The Hammer weighs in a smidge less, it was like 0.3 ounces than the DNA. It might be noticeable, but it's not a huge difference versus the Stallion Omega is significantly lighter, almost a full, I think it was almost like 1.5 ounces lighter than the DNA. So that's the biggest weight difference. They bulked up the Hammer Omega a little bit more. So let's talk about it. So the Hammer Omega varies a lot from the previous Hammer models. They've kind of been jumping all over the place. The original Hammer's offset looks more similar to the Hammer Omega. The Hammer 700, whatever it was, 500, 700, 1,000, definitely had a different offset, and both of them had different face shapes. In my opinion, the Omega face shape is very spoon-like. They slimmed it down at the throat, which I like. I've been hoping defensive heads would trend this way, but I still think they flared a little bit too soon. I just don't see why deep pulls can't use a head with the face shape like the Stallion. Yeah. Let's just get there. But it's still got kind of that reminiscent feel of a older school, wider defensive head. As you can see, the struts are different as well. So instead of, I think the Hammer had 3 vertical stripes up here, they've got this new cross strut in the opposite direction down low. Bunch of fanciful little decorations that STX always does so well. This is their, what are they calling it, like Galaxy color or whatever. Basically it's their plastic. It doesn't quite do a black, so it's got this cool little funky swirled design. It's got that speed scoop. It's got a little cord out section up top, super stiff, great in all those regards. I am going to be a little bit harsher on this Hammer. The first thing I didn't really like is notice how flat and thinner this part of the head is than down here. I actually would have liked to see them have curved it out a little bit more. I think it just makes the pocket a little bit funky. Like I said, I wish the face shape was a little bit more pinched. Actually, these top stringing holes are a little bit weird. So if you look at how I did the top string, these are kind of bunched a little bit too close together. The main reason I can think of being that it ends up getting a little thick out here in the outer section. So they just kind of pushed everything in. But that made it string a little funky. It really wasn't the easiest head to attack, and I also used Stringer Shack mesh on this string job, which is a little bit larger diamond size than like a memory mesh. So I don't know how well this head would do with a memory mesh. But I like the throat holes spacing better than the Stallion Omega, so I'll give it that. Now, the Hammer Omega is a tougher argument for me than the Stallion Omega. The reason being, this head exists. I don't think I put on deodorant today. Nope. The Hammer, smidge lighter. On a pole, not sure you can tell the difference. But let's compare face shape first and foremost. I like this DNA face shape a little bit more for the defensive position. In addition, I just think it has a much smoother transition, holds the ball a little bit lower versus this kind of piecewise function that they've got going here. And I am purely conjecturing, but I do worry about a little bit of flare down in the throat if there is going to be any warping at all. But you should take that with a massive grain of salt, because not only have I not tested it, this is a new plastic, so everything I know could be thrown out the window. But what really makes this a harder sell is this is a $100 product, $120 product, unstrung, versus a $90 ECD DNA. The Stallion Omega makes a much stronger argument because I would not use the DNA in a short stick just because of how heavy it is. This is like 6.2 ounces. I want to say this was like 5.9 and the Stallion was like 4.9. So to me, I'm spending an extra $30 for something I could have pretty similar performance with for $30 cheaper. That being said, if I am a defenseman who likes a wide head, I am very biased because I am a short stick. Okay, if I like this wider profile, this is the defensive head you should get. I see so many defensemen using crazy warped heads because they just spent $200 on a new Dragonfly shaft or whatever, and their parents won't buy them a new head, which I totally understand. Get this head, one and done, use it for a long time, and then you don't have to worry about it as much. Any D-pull should not be buying any two heads other than this. Or even if you're an LSM, I think I would take a stab at the Stallion Omega, okay? If they are not one of these three heads, do not buy it. This is me saying you should listen to me. Don't buy it. But yeah, once again, that's the long and short of it. $120 is a premium price. If I am using two heads in the span that I could use one of these, I'm saving my money. So I would recommend this for somebody who is more experienced, who knows how their heads break down, who is making a longer term investment in the sport. But if you like a wide defensive head, this is by far the strongest. It's just facts. Thanks again to STX for sending this over. This head will actually be available for you guys to snag for as little as $1. So kind of revamping the Patreon. And essentially what I'm doing is I receive so much free product. It's overwhelming. I appreciate it greatly from all of my company contacts, but it's too much to the point where I can't even give away the stuff fast enough. So now to make my life a little bit easier, anyone who supports my Patreon as little as the $1 mark a month will be eligible every month to receive one of the premium products I get to review, whether that's a shaft, whether that's a head. So you could literally add $1 to the Patreon, the next month wind up with this at your front door. So link is down below to support that. Thanks so much guys for watching, like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys next time.